Greetings, dear Thulians. As you can tell, poor Thistle is traveling in rain, and it has been pouring down for days now. So today we are going to find out exactly how it works when it rains and you might become soaking wet. Whew, finally inside, but he has become soaking wet. And what does that mean in Reconquest? Well, first of all, if you have no idea, the fastest way to find out is simply to check out the index, which of course is alphabetic, and here you have it. Soaking wet. Page 7, 47, 60, 62 and 74. But it's written in bold here, so this is the main entry. Let's have a look at page 7. Okay, it's written here under conditions. Soaking wet. Adjustment to the die result, +2. And adjustment to the movement rate. If you're wet and you are soaking wet, you lose a little bit speed when moving around. And of course, when to use these adjustments. The adjustment for the different conditions should be applied when the Game Master determines that the situation and the ability score in question are affected. So if you are soaking wet and somebody tries to give you a math quiz, it is not going to affect it whatsoever. Because your Game Master has a brain, so he can think and understands that this will not influence it very much at all. However, if you are going to balance on something, maybe a ledge, and you are soaking wet, it might actually influence it a lot. Just like the wind influences this book. But there was also something about soaking wet on page 47. And here we have it, condition. You lose, of course, when you roll for initiative, it's good to roll high. And here you get a -2 to your initiative for each relevant condition. And as you can tell, soaking wet makes you a little bit slower to react. And you lose a little bit initiative because of it in combat. The page 60 reference is pretty much exactly the same about initiative. This is found in the quick reference sheet for combat. Then we jump to the reference to page 62, and again we find it quickly, because in combat, if you are soaking wet, you will struggle a little bit with your offensive values as well, and even defensive values, because you've really slowed down if your clothes are completely wet, that is, soaking wet. The final entry on page 74 is about how you get soaking wet. Because if it's raining or downpour, little footnote here, characters will become soaking wet after 1 day or after 3 days if wearing a cloak like little Thistle Greenbottle is doing, of continuous rainfall, and after 1 single day of downpour, regardless of what they wear, because even if you wear a cloak and it's pouring down, you are going to get soaking wet. And this is what happened to Thistle. And this explains his expression, doesn't it? He doesn't look extremely happy about it. Because it's uncomfortable, and it slows him down, and if he has to fight something and he's soaking wet, that's going to be to his hindrance. Now, if he, because of other conditions, has his movement rate adjusted to 0 or less, he will become incapacitated. So if he's poisoned, seriously injured and soaking wet, he will be unable to move. So we just lie down there and die. And we really don't want that to happen to Thistle, do we? This might come as a shock to some of you, but if you are soaking wet, the solution is to dry your clothes. But thankfully, Thistle, oh, his hair is a little bit off. That's better. Thankfully, Thistle is only soaking wet, and oh no, it's a little bit windy, isn't it? And that will be all, because I feel if I continue now, poor Thistle is going to blow into one of these bottomless pits, and you never know what kind of nasty things are down there.